Preferably 3. Preferably 10, I guess, really.
Second down, call it a long 5 for the Vikings. Motion comes to the left. And the give is off the right side.
Outstanding pursuit.
Good pursuit, as you say, Steve, by the Innisdale defense.
What may have been missed there was the fact that Jeremy Georgian threw an incredible block out in front. Unfortunately, the ball carrier just was not able to capitalize on it.
Third and 1. We apologize for not being able to give you time updates here. There is no clock on the field, and we are away from the officials here. So we can tell you that we are midway through the second quarter with the Innisdale Invaders leading the Barrie North Vikings 7-0. The Vikings are on the roll here. The give is to Georgian off the right side.
They come up short.
Short gain on the play.
Oh, again I was wrong.
However, enough to give the Vikings a first down. First down just outside the Innisdale 20.
Important that North get some points out of this drive, John.
Jordan sets underneath, gives to the tailback. And again, Jeff Fisher swarmed by the Innisdale defense.
Get those yards on Guts. There was no hole for him to run through. He got him strictly on Guts. He just put his head down, dropped his shoulder, and pushed his way through.
Still a decent gain on the play. Second down and 4. And Steve Fisher's gradually racking up those yards. Who knows, maybe we will see a 100-yard rusher in today's ball game.
Quite possibly.
We should mention that the temperature today has got to be just about the 0 mark, I would think.
Oh, I'd say it's hovering pretty much around there. Yeah. My toes, I think, right about now would start to agree with you, too. It's a great day for football. It's not necessarily a great day to be sitting around.
And judging by the turnout here, good support behind us here. We are located on the south side of the field, away from the players' benches, and certainly several hundred spectators on our side of the field. Second down. The give again to Fisher off the right side, off tackle. And he fights forward for a couple. Flag on the play.
Flag was thrown well after the play, John.
As we wait for some indication of the infraction. Penalties against North, as we can see the official unsportsmanlike conduct. The call against the Barrie North Vikings.
You know, not to harp on this or pound on them, but the North Vikings continue to make mistakes that you just can't make as a championship football team. But certainly there are penalties you can't avoid and good penalties to take. Objectionable conduct is not a penalty you should take with your team on a long offensive drive heading towards the end zone, particularly trailing 7-0.
Well, an uncharacteristic lack of discipline by the Barrie North squad. And it's now third down and about 16. As Greg Jordan sizes up the defense, calling the audibles. And a reverse on the play. Nicely conceived to number 28. Number 28, Aaron, on the play.
Interesting call.
Well, certainly with that type of yardage to go on third down, Steve, Innisdale looking for the pass.
I'd say a bad call. I just said an interesting call.
Innisdale defense reacting quite well in the play. Number 42, Adam Parker, defensive end, always got his nose into things there, and he was right there
a lot today
to break it up. A short gain on the play, 3rd down. And a long 12 on the play. Jordan rolls to the right. He's looking for his wide receiver, and the ball is caught by number 20, Higgett. Good concentration on his part.
Be short, and that's a turnover.
And that was a 4th down play, so the Vikings will turn the ball over. Actually, a good play by the quarterback, number 7, Greg Jordan. Had all kinds of traffic in his face and still managed to get the ball out there and get it completed to Mr. Higgett, his go-to man. Now the Innisdale Invaders take over on about their 20-yard line. The give is off the left tackle. You can see there number 51.
He's very happy if I'm an Innisdale Invader coach right now. North had the ball for a prolonged period of time, drove the ball very well, very hard, and still came out of that long drive with absolutely nothing to show for it on the scoreboard.
It's Keegan Smith on the carry for a couple.
Now the disadvantage, of course, if I'm with Innisdale, is the fact that what you have on the field now is a very well-rested Barrie North defensive unit.
Actually, Smith doing a little better than a couple on that. Looks like 2nd down and about 4. Injury on the field. It's the training staff from the Barrie North Vikings. Tend to the injured player. And Steve, you make a good point. You've got a very fresh, very powerful North defense on the field, and that has, of course, been their strength throughout the course of the season.
The real strength of the North defense all season, really, John, has been its ability to force turnovers, and then forcing turnovers is only half of the story. There's no point forcing turnovers if you can't capitalize on them, and the North has been able to do that fairly effectively today, and up to this point, the only one that's capitalized on a turnover today has been the Innisdale Invaders, who have scored the lone touchdown in this afternoon's contest.
Let's take a moment to set the Innisdale offense for you. The offensive line, 54 Hardwick, 69 McFarland, 67 Pratt, number 60 on the right side, Tom Flynn, number 76 Spencer. When they've got wideouts in the game, it's Mike Flug, 24, who's generally split wide to the right, as you can see now. They've got number 10, Eric Scott, in the slot on the right side as they get ready for a 2nd down and 4. Looks like we've got an offside on Barrie North.
Stand on the sidelines for a while as defense makes you a little jumpy when you get back out there.
If that flag goes against North, Innisdale will likely accept that.
Well, like everything in football and in most sports, everything is a two-way street. I mean, if you're Innisdale right now, you've got to be happy you're leading 7-0. If you're Barrie North, you have to be sort of happy you're only trailing 7-0.
I think you're right, Steve. Really, the momentum is pretty much 0 at the moment.
Yeah, it seems to be not even really swaying back and forth. It just seems to have stalled for a minute, and it's just up to someone to reach up and grab it now.
Looks like offside on the play. Innisdale accepts a penalty. It's 1st down now for the Innisdale Invaders.
Well, here we go again. I mean, North is going to have to stay away from this. They're going to have to stay away from taking penalties. Because I'm not the first one to say it, and I won't be the last, but penalties are going to kill you.
1st down as Innisdale comes to the line of scrimmage from about their 30-yard line. Trying to get some sort of a drive going here. McPherson under center. Looks downfield to the left-hand side, and intended receiver on the play.
Good job just to get that football away by Sean. A good story, too. We were talking earlier about Sean, the converted tailback. Took over due to an injury earlier in the season and basically grabbed the starting job away and has not given it back.
Intended receiver on the play was number 11, Mike Kelly. And again, good pressure from the North defense there, forcing McPherson to get rid of that ball a little sooner than he wanted to, and Kelly couldn't catch up to the pass. It's 2nd down and 10 now from the 30. Fluke wide to the right. The give is off to the left side. Nowhere to go there. The defensive line for the Barrie North Vikings.
Now you're starting to see the real Barrie North defense come out. They're shutting down everything at this point.
It's a big, strong defensive line they've got, Steve. If we move along that defensive line, we've got 89 DJ Weston, 75 is Springall, 68 is Don Akehurst, and 64 Justin Graham. And there are some big kids on that line.
DJ Weston's a big kid. He's not somebody you'd want to run into if he didn't want you to get by him, I'll tell you that much.
2nd down and 10 for Innisdale on about the 32. The give is to the left side, and the North defense strings that play out nicely. As Innisdale now tries to shift the power to the offensive left and see if they can get anything going on the short side of the field. But Steve, nothing there. Nope. As Justin Gordon shuts them down, number 64 for the Barrie North Vikings.
Gotta be pretty happy if you're Barrie North now. I mean, they seem to have come back into their game plan a little bit. Back to receive this the punt again. Ryan Higgett over there, number 20. I'm sorry, no, that's 28. That would be Seneca Aaron, and 32, which is of course Jeremy Evans.
Fluke gets the punt off. Picking it up is number 10.
Tyler Gow.
And he has absolutely nowhere to go, and that was Tyler Gow on the return for about 2 yards as the Barrie North Vikings take over now right at midfield on the 50-yard line. As we move through the latter half of the second quarter, where the score is the Innisdale Invaders 7 and the Barrie North Vikings no score.
Good job just to get that punt off, really, John.
The give is to the setback, and he gets rocked after a gain of about 5 on the play.
You know, as we approach halftime here, we've pretty much got what we expected today. It's been the ball has, for the most part, been on the ground, and it's been a very close football game. Obviously, the score indicates that.
Big hit on that play. Middle linebacker 38 Lee Murdoch just absolutely rocked the tailback on that play. Jeremy Evans tried to hit it up off tackle, and Murdoch was equal to the challenge, bringing up a 2nd down and a long 7 here. Fisher's in motion, and it's a hitch to the outside, and it's dropped by number 20, Higgett, bringing up a 3rd down.
Sort of right through his hands. It's just a matter of one of those things. Ball could be wet, ball could be slippery. Maybe he just missed it. It's one of those things.
Third down on the play. And 7 for the Barrie North Vikings. As you say, Steve, the weather may be taking its toll at this point. The finger's a little hard to feel, and Higgett not being able to squeeze the hitch thrown out to him by the quarterback, Greg Johnson. 3rd down and 7. Trips left here. Johnson looks down the field, looks to the outside, and a nice catch on the play by number 28, Aaron, and it's good for a 1st down. And a good call there, Steve, by the quarterback and or the offensive coordinator there. They ran trips to the left side and just snuck number 28, Aaron, out into the flat for a 1st down.
Yeah, exceptional call, and this is good for Barrie North. I mean, they had the momentum. They had the momentum on the last drive. Were unable to come away with anything. They have got out here, as we said, the momentum seemed to have stalled, and now they seem to have recaptured the momentum, and they're beginning what could be another drive.
We're late in the second quarter here. Jordan gives to the up back.
Georgian again.
Number 52, Jeremy Georgian, pounds in there for a gain of a couple. Making a big play in there, number 90, Shane Guttrell.
I suppose Mr. Georgian parents own stock in any liniment company. He must be a really sore young man by the time he comes off this football field.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm sure the Barrie North Viking training staff has their hands full with Georgian, of course, playing both ways at linebacker and running back. Steve, this is a kid who must love to play the game, and I know the coaches love to have him out there. It's 2nd down And a long 7 for the Barrie North Vikings here late in the second quarter. Aaron split wide to the left. Jordan looks to the right.
Just overthrew the receiver there.
That ball was incomplete to number 28, Aaron. Looking a little frustrated on the play. He was wide open there. A little stop pattern, 2 yards off the line of scrimmage, looking back at the quarterback. And perhaps Jordan, just a little too enthusiastic, not being able to believe that his receiver was that far open. The ball was overthrown, brings a third down and a long 7 here for the Barrie North Vikings. Jordan audibling at the line of scrimmage here. Brings Aaron in motion to the left side. And he's looking left here. Picked off. Intercepted on the play by number 42, Adam Parker. Flag on the play, but flags are everywhere, Steve, but big play by number 42, the linebacker who dropped back into the zone to make the play as Jordan thought he saw something at the line of scrimmage and called an audible, bringing the receivers to the left, to the offensive left.
Obviously a ball that probably never should have been thrown, but the quarterback, Jordan, got really popped after he did throw that football.
But nobody fooling Adam Parker on that play as he returns the ball back upfield as we wait to see if we can sort these penalties out. It looks like the flags are thrown against Innisdale, possibly an illegal block on the return on that interception.
It'd be interesting to be in the locker room at halftime to hear the conversation that the Barrie North coaching staff will have with the players. Although the game has gone much as we expected, John, Barrie North uncharacteristically making some errors that you wouldn't expect a team of this caliber, I wouldn't think, to be making.
Well, they certainly don't seem to be as focused as one might expect, Steve, coming into this game, and certainly defending defending champions. My entire vocal system is now frozen up solid. Innisdale takes over control of the ball on an interception just about the 40-yard line, first down. It gives to the left side, and that's a student body left if you've ever seen one. Everyone there, full house backfield, everyone heads to the left side to block on the play for Keegan Smith, who carries for a couple.
You have to wonder with Barrie North whether playing at home is a factor at all or not, John. Maybe they're a little nervous, maybe they're little butterflies playing in front of the home crowd. Maybe they just need a half to settle them down. And let's give some credit to Innisdale, too. I mean, Innisdale is forcing those turnovers. Innisdale is playing a very, very good, solid, sound football game to this point.
Mike Fluke split wide to the right for McPherson. Kelly in the slot, and the gives right back up on the counter inside to Keegan Smith again.
You know, I thought by this point we might have seen more of Mike Fluke. You know, he was a big part of their semifinal victory, and as of yet, he has not really been a factor in the offense.
No question, he's been the go-to man for McPherson all season, and again, he seems to be not well included at this point in the game. Although, having said that, Innisdale is, of course, up 7-0 and heading into the halftime here. We're late in the second quarter. Perhaps trying to play a little more conservatively, and McPherson hits the wide receiver on the play, number 24. And, of course, as we're talking about Fluke, he is the recipient of that McPherson pass.
I think it's only a matter of time before they start getting the ball to him or attempting to get the ball to him. He is obviously a big part of their offense.
Well, fourth down, Innisdale punts, and Fluke is certainly Mr. Utility here for the Innisdale Invaders. He punts on the play, and back to receive the punt. He gets it off. It's hurried, and that ball is going out of bounds at about the 42, 43-yard line, where the Barrie North Vikings will take over here in the second quarter of this game. Again, the score, the Innisdale Invaders 7 and the Barrie North Vikings no score. And Steve, do you think the fact that North comes in as defending champions, is it possible they're coming into this game not taking Innisdale as seriously as they might?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. They are defending champions, absolutely, and that is a factor. But this is a substantially different football team than won the GB title last year.
Jordan sizes up the defense. They're operating out of the eye, and Jordan looks to the hitch right off the right side. Flea flicker on the play. And Steve, that's a play that's well conceived, but goes for naught and didn't fool anybody on the Innisdale side of the ball. The flea flicker going to number 44, Fisher, on the play.
Interesting again, another interesting call. I mean, you're in a 7-0 football game. Obviously, one play could break this whole thing open either way. It's a good call at this stage. I mean, maybe you catch them a little bit off guard. Obviously, as we said, North has been able to move the ball effectively, have not been able to find the end zone at this stage. But you throw a couple of new wrinkles into the offense, give them something maybe they haven't seen before. And obviously, it looked to me on that play like they had seen it before, or certainly were prepared for it. But at least let's try something different. They have not put the ball in the end zone, so let's go off and try something a little new, and maybe you catch a break somewhere.
Well, Adam Parker, defensive end number 42, was not fooled at all on that play, getting in to break it up.
Getting back to your point earlier about defending GB champions, I said that this is basically a very, very new football team. They lost their quarterback in Kevin Taylor, who's went on to play university football, and Kevin is here today somewhere. And they also lost Doug Hayden, who carried a huge workload for this team last year on their drive towards the Metro Bowl qualifiers. So basically a completely different makeup than the football team that was on the field a year ago at this time.
Second down for the North Vikings. 10 yards to go, no gain on the last play. Jordan calling the signals inside the huddle. Trying to move them down the field here as we approach the end of the first half. North would like nothing better than to get on the board and have a little momentum going into the second half of this football game. Give on the play to 44, Fisher, and Fisher's wrapped up nicely on the play by Sean McMeeking, number 44. Good run on the play.
Well, he just pounds the football in there, John. Wouldn't want to be on the other side of that when he comes through the line.
Good work on the offensive line on that play. Kent Lane, number 40, opening up the hole on that play. Third down here. Important on the play. Play action, and Jordan is absolutely swarmed, and once again, it's number 42 on the play, Adam Parker.
Unfortunate for him, too, because Ryan Higgett was open. He had slipped in between the coverage there. He was only open for, what can we say, a nanosecond. But certainly he would have, had they been able to get the ball to him, he had a potential to break it for a pretty big gain.
Well, good pressure by the defensive line. Number 89, John Thomas, was in there in a hurry. Stunting on that defensive line, caught the Barrie North Vikings offensive group there by surprise, and Jordan was the recipient of an introductory call by a couple of those big Innisdale defensive linemen.
Starting to warm up, John, which only leads credence to my theory that God really is a football fan.
And to the fact that he'd like to see us survive the balance of those telecasts. Now, fourth down for the Vikings. They will be punting the ball here. And again, we apologize for not having. We see the flag up. We're within 2-minute warning here. Back to punt on the play. Number 75 for the Vikings. That's a new face there, Steve. And it looks like a fake on the play. He rears back. And we can't see from our vantage point, but it looks like a well-conceived play and a caught ball.
That's Sean Forster threw that football.
Sean Forster, and a big play there, Steve, by the Barrie North Vikings, and that was caught. That's by number 20 on the play, and
real kudos to the North coaching staff. I mean, the tendency in a championship game when you're within 7 points is to play it safe. Let's not do anything too strange that could cost us. That's a big gutsy call at this stage of the football game, because they turn that ball over and Innisdale goes in and scores.
First down at midfield here. Inside 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Jordan rolls to his left, looks down the middle, looks for Higgett. Contact there. And that ball is picked off.
That's the end of the half.
On the last play of the second quarter.
You're basically
a very satisfied Innisdale Invaders Club coming off the field as we go to a break at the end of the second quarter, the end of the first half here in the 1996 Georgian Bay Senior Boys High School Football Championship game here at Barrie North. Well, the captains have just shaken hands at midfield, and Innisdale will be kicking off to start the second half. The Barrie North Vikings receiving.
Going to get a good indication, John, early on with North taking the ball, that what was said in the locker room and whether North will be able to come out and execute whatever game plan or alterations perhaps to the game plan that was devised in the locker room at halftime.
Well, it's a cliche, Steve, but there is absolutely no tomorrow for one of these two teams today.
Absolutely.
So they have got to leave it all on the field, and Barrie North, no doubt, is coming out in the second half with a more determined look in their eyes. And Innisdale, of course, not only trying to preserve this 7-point margin, but also add to that and make a trip beyond this for the first time, as you mentioned off the top of the shows, in a number of years.
Now, at this point, a 7-0 lead means basically that, 7 points. I mean, it doesn't mean much beyond that. One play could turn this game around in a big hurry. This football game could turn in about 2 minutes.
As Floyd kicks the ball off at the start the second half. It's a tough one to get a handle on. But number 28 for the Vikings, Aaron, manages to keep control. The Vikings offense comes out on the field for the first series of the second half.
Very crucial, as I said, very crucial that the Vikings get back into that rhythm. No, they really have to push the ball across. They really have to score some points, obviously.
Quarterback number 7, Greg Jordan, will be back under center. Jeff Fisher, 44, in the backfield. He was the big back for Jordan in the first half. And the give is to Jordan. It's from Jordan to Fisher on the first play, and he powers off on a quick hit. Off the guard into the hole for a couple of yards. Second down. Good gain on the play. Second down and a long 5.
Interesting too now, John. I'm sure you've noticed it's gotten cold again, and the wind is beginning to pick up.
That noticed, Steve.
That will be
I'm freezing to death.
Dramatic effect on the Barrie North passing game.
Second and 5. Jordan brings number 20 across the formation in motion, but the give is inside to Jeremy Evans, number 32, and there is nowhere for Evans to go. And we haven't seen a lot of Evans in this game so far, Steve.
Well, he ended up basically in the mud over there, which is about all you got left in that point of the field right there, right now. And we're starting to get a little bit of snow. Actually, that's not really snow, is it? That's more like hail or sleet or some form of climatological something that we have never seen before.
Some sort of disaster. However, third down for the Barrie North Vikings here. Jordan delays and gives to the right side to Jeff Fisher, number 44, and he has stood up brilliantly on the play by the middle linebacker for Innisdale, number 38, Lee Murdoch. Nobody fooling him there, Steve. Murdoch stepped into the hole and stood Jeff Fisher up.
You know, we spent so much time today talking about the Barrie North defense. Let's give a little bit of credit to the Innisdale Invader defense. They have, as they say, bend but not broken. They've been able to let the North move the ball, but haven't given up any points yet.
Fourth down on the play. North is going to be punting the ball away. Now, correction on that. Jordan brings them up to the line of scrimmage on fourth down. They're going to go for it here early in the third quarter. Jordan gives Jeremy Georgian, the flag on the play. And this looks close, Steve.
Difficult to tell exactly from our vantage point, but I think he may have picked up the first down. Of course,
So
that's
got
all
a flag in the
dependent on
defensive
flag,
secondary of Innisdale. Of course, if the flag goes against Innisdale, it is a first down, and the referee is conferring with the Barrie North's number 9. And the flag goes against, the penalty does go against Innisdale, and that will be a first down on the play.
Maybe exactly the kind of break North needed to get a little something started here.
Greg Jordan, quarterback, waits for the referee's whistle, looks over the defense, and on 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line, again the give is to number 44, Fisher, and stacked up with nowhere to go.
Again, the Innisdale defense reacting quickly and getting to the ball carrier very quickly. They have been outstanding today and just able to make the kind of containment necessary. North has not really broken off a big play all afternoon.
That was Ben Wells, number 36, on the play. No fooling him. Number 44, Sean McNeakin, was in on that play as well. Second down, penalty flag on the play, and a good run by 44, Jeff Fisher. Now for what, Steve, the winds have picked up here now. That is a cold, cold north wind blowing across the field.
And for what it's worth now to Barrie North, their offense will now have the wind. Of course, that means should this weather continue, they will have to lose the wind in the fourth quarter. Of course, the weather today is changing like the weather.
Well said, Steve. Flag on the play, holding on the Barrie North Vikings. Play that on the offensive line. That takes the ball back 10 yards. Now second down, and we'll call it 15 as they scrimmage the ball from about their 35-yard line. Jordan has his hands full now, trying to move the ball on this second down play. Full house backfield. The give is to number 32 on the play, Jeremy Evans, one of the few carries he's had on the day, and he pounds it forward to get close to the original line of scrimmage.
A lot of people handling the ball today for Barrie North, and I'm certainly not desperation time yet, but you're getting to the point where, you've really got to start to make something happen. Innisdale, of course, doing everything they can to make sure nothing does happen in terms of the North offensive scheme, and doing an excellent job to this point.
Well, Innisdale's secondary is certainly not getting much work, but coming up and showing some good run support, and the linebacking crew, headed by Lee Murdoch, is certainly standing up well in there. And there's Jordan giving the ball. Georgian on the play. And a good play there, Steve, by the quarterback, number 7, Greg Jordan.
Exceptional play. He was under a lot of pressure, and it takes a lot of guts to throw a ball out in that kind of situation.
Now here early in the third quarter, it's fourth down and about 7, and they will be punting the ball away. And again, that's number 75 punting that ball,
Sean Foster.
And who we got back there returning it, Steve? As Foster gets the punt away, but it hangs up in the wind.
It's Adrian Deeg, number 13, will pick up the ball.
A lucky bounce on the play, and the ball's picked up. A great pursuit on the play. On the punt coverage by number 9, Mike Kelly.
It's actually Mike Butler with the
Mike Butler on the play. Excuse me.
Exceptional coverage. The ball bouncing around there gave the defense a little more time to get themselves into position on special teams. And poor Adrian was a little bit hung out to dry there. He was out there all by himself, right over by the sideline, and didn't really have anywhere to go anyway. So.
Well, a flag on that play as well. We'll wait to see what the call was there, but no question about the fact that with Butler getting down there on that punt coverage, he certainly pumped up the North defense. And they, of course, will be looking to make a stand here, down 7-0 as we approach the midway portion of this, the third quarter.
Now North has got Innisdale back a little bit in their zone. If they can contain them here, they should come out of this series with fairly decent field position.
McPherson under center. Quarterback gives off on the inside to Keegan Smith, who powers for it. Takes 2 or 3 defenders.
He was not a long way from breaking that one wide open, John.
Some good determined running there by the very able number 51, Keegan Smith. And he's a big kid, Steve. That guy goes, Keegan goes about 6'1" or so, almost 200 pounds.
And he can move. He's very
He does
quick.
have some speed about them, as they say. McPherson sizes things up and gives to Keegan, that is Keegan Smith again on the carry. Becoming a bit of a workhorse here for Innisdale, early in this drive. It's third down, and they've got a short 2 from about their 33-yard line. They've got to take it out across the 35 to get a first down. Working out of the eye. They fake the reverse and give it up inside. Good offensive call there.
He had a very, very nice hole to run through.
And the ball carrier is down on the play.
Interesting enough, John, we have a little break here.
Now is that, sorry Steve,
Nope.
Is that Keegan Smith there, number 51, who's down on the ground? It's hard to tell from our vantage point here. I believe it is. I don't see him in the huddle. We'll update you on that as soon as we get some information on that. Sorry, Steve.
No, that's what I was just going to say. I mean, obviously we're hoping very much that nobody gets hurt today, but you know, you go out there and everybody is now in the second half. You're giving basically every last ounce that you've got if you want to win this football championship, and that increases the potential for injury, obviously, because you're probably, for a lot of these players, going at a higher level than they've ever played at before in terms of enthusiasm, in terms of exertion. And if you've never done that at that level before, sometimes that's where things start to happen that are a little unfortunate.
Well, we're back after that break and an injury on the play to number 51, Keegan Smith. However, as he and the training staff for Innisdale passed by, it looks like he is going to be fine, just a serious sprain, and he will be out of the game for the balance of it for observation by the medical staff. It's a first down and a give on the play by Innisdale.
Very, very good news, John, as they carried Keegan by us here at our table. He gave the thumbs up to one of his friends on the way and had a big smile on his face, so, you know, thank goodness everything's going to be okay. Now, having said that, I don't know if losing Keegan Smith makes everything okay for the Innisdale Invader offense.
Well, that remains to be seen, and they've got a clean uniform in the game. In number 11 in the backfield taking over for Keegan Smith, and that's Mike Kelly. No stranger to this offense. He normally plays in the slot. And McPherson leading outside. An outstanding effort on the play, but the officials right on the scene.
It's a heck of an effort. That was
And Eric Scott had Tyler Gow all over him on that play. Nearly made the reception.
Battle of the Tens there. We were talking to the coaching staff in Innisdale earlier about Eric Scott, 16 years old, grade 11, outstanding football prospect.
Now third down and 8 for Innisdale here in the third quarter. McPherson gives to the second man. It's the new man in the backfield, Mike Kelly, and he breaks it outside. It's a foot race. Kelly down the sidelines. Shoestring tackle. Great by number 9, Mike Butler.
Great play by Mike Butler.
To break up play, and those fresh legs of number 11, Mike Kelly, paying big dividends and coming in to replace the injured number 51, Keegan Smith.
Somewhat ironic in the fact, John, that is almost the identical play that Innisdale, from the identical spot on the field that Innisdale scored the lone touchdown in this football game today. And then great acceleration to the outside by Mike Kelly.
Well, Innisdale skirmishes the ball now. They're inside the 20-yard line. They're in the red zone. McPherson under center. Fluke split wide to the left. And the give is inside.
Well, we've talked about the North defense all day, and now is the time that the North defense has to really show up. They don't show up now. Things are going to get a lot deeper. The hole's going to get a lot deeper for the defending GB champion Vikings.
Well, so the North Vikings digging their heels on defense. McPherson brings his troops up to the line of scrimmage inside the 20-yard line. And it gives inside to Kelly off the left tackle, and he is stacked up for very little gain on the play.
No substitute for fresh legs late in the ball game, John. Especially if they happen to be fresh legs as talented as Mr. Kelly's.
Third down on the play, critical call here for the Innisdale offense. They are on the left hash marks. McPherson looks over. Everybody comes to the right. McPherson looks into the end zone. And that ball
not really sure
does not find a home. The intended receiver on the play was number 25, Mike Fluke.
All right, here's your call.
Number 24, Mike Fluke.
What do you do now? What do you do now? Fourth down, you're up by 7, you're deep.
Well, you've got to come away with some points, although they're in tricky footing there. Do you try a field goal, Steve?
I don't know. I would think at this stage I would try the field goal simply because you're going to come away probably with at least a single. And it looks like Fluke is lining up for it to try and kick the field goal.
Looks like it will be a 20-yard field goal attempt.
And that's wide.
And he misses it wide to the left. Tyler Gow trying to return that ball out now. We'll see where they spot the ball here. Now they missed the field goal. Now, Steve, I believe in this case that the rule in high school football is on a missed field goal, regardless of where the ball is returned to, the ball is scrimmaged on the 30-yard line, and that appears to be.
Well, just as importantly, that makes the score 8-0, and that's a big single point.
Indeed, it is. That's going to change the Barrie North's offensive strategy for the balance of certainly the third quarter.
I'd be willing to bet you, John, that is the most important single point kicked by anybody on the Innisdale Invaders this year.
Well, as you said, they do have to come away from this. They did have to come away with something. They do have the single point. Innisdale is up 8-0 over the Barrie North Vikings. We're midway through the third quarter. As the North Vikings scrimmage the ball, Greg Jordan, the quarterback, looks over the defense and gives the ball off right up the gut to Georgius, number 52.
Basically now I think you just go back and you just start again. Well, we keep banging away at this. That's what they got to do. They got to keep banging away at the offense. They got to keep trying to push the ball through, and they have to just wear down that Innisdale defense, which has been absolutely exceptional today.
Second down, a gain of 4 by Georgius on the play. Full house backfield. Georgius, Allen, and Fisher. And the give is off the left side to number 32.
As you mentioned, John, there's obviously going to be a change in the offensive strategy to a certain extent. I mean, it's still obviously the North will try and drive in for the touchdown. Now they need the two-point convert. The two-point convert doesn't become an option anymore, and a two-point convert is a lot harder to get than a one-point convert, which is why they give you 2 points for it instead of just 1. Third down and less than a yard for the North Vikings.
Jordan gets everyone moving to the left and gives the ball off the left side to
the field effector again there. As you saw, Ryan Higgett slipped down. If we were up over top of the field, we'd probably be able to see it better, but my guess is it looks a bit more like a swamp than a football field right out in the middle there, John.
Number 20, Ryan Higgett on the play there, off tackle. Good for a short gain.
That would be the end of the third quarter, I believe.
And that's correct, Steve. At the end of the third quarter now, the score is the Innisdale Invaders 8 on that single point from the missed field goal by Fluke in the third quarter. Now, the Barrie North Vikings, no score. Now, here is a critical play for the Barrie North Vikings, 4th and less than a yard. And at this point, it looks like they're going to have to go for it. They must maintain control if they hope to get back into this ball game. Jordan brings them up to the line of scrimmage. They come out of the eye. They stack their receiving strength to the right, but you got to think they're going to be going right up the middle of this one. And that's what they do, and it's going to be close. Good defensive surge, but it looks as if they will have the first down, and that's the carry on the play, number 52, Georgian, their go-to guy. And a first down on the play.
Now, if you're sitting on the, if you're the Innisdale if you're the Barrie North coaching staff now, what do you tell your guys on the bench now, John? In your fourth quarter, not been able to put the ball in all day. What do you tell them now?
Well, I think at this point they've got to maintain a little continuity in their play selection, do what's been working well for them. They've been able to run the ball, but you can see that the Innisdale defense is really stacked up in the gaps, and they're going to make it tough for them to run. As you can see right there on the give to Allen, number 32, and that.
And nowhere for Jeremy Evans to go that time. Absolutely nowhere.
Innisdale, I think, Steve, is, or rather Barrie North, is going to have to stretch this defense out just a little bit. They're going to have to put the ball in the air and take a little pressure off their offensive line, because right now Innisdale is running pretty much an 8-man front. They're going to giving the Barrie North offensive line all kinds of fits and starts here, and they're able to string out these runs. And again, here we had on the last play a loss of 3 on the play. And second down and about 8.
Now you called it.
Oh, that ball is picked off.
Great play. What an exceptional play by Adrian Deed.
And Adrian Deed has been the man of the moment on several times today for the Innisdale Invaders, picking off that play. And again, a well-conceived play. Jordan looked down the field and had his man, number 20, Ryan Higgett, on the play, but just good, solid defense, Steve, by Adrian Deeds.
I'll tell you, Adrian Deed wearing number 13, you'd be hard-pressed to have the Innisdale Invaders tell you that's an unlucky number right at this moment.
Although, you would certainly get a different opinion from the Barrie North squad.
Absolutely.
First down, Innisdale. Scrimmage the ball from about their 40-yard line. That gives up inside on the play. Short gain on the play. Standing up second down, and they're going to keep that ball on the ground, Steve.
You're standing on the Barrie North side of the ball right now, which would be defensive. I think you have to get pumped up, and I think you have to be a little bit angry. You have to be a little bit angry now. I mean, you're Georgian Bay champions, and you not only are you behind 8 points in the fourth quarter, not been able to punch the ball in the end zone all day long. I mean, you have to, I think, be a little bit angry about that and have to push just even a little bit harder now.
The person comes up under center, second down, 9 to go. He's got a full house backfield. A little bit of a cross block. And the give was to number 11, Mike Kelly. And Steve Kelly has had some added spring in his step since coming in fresh in the third quarter, and that hasn't hurt the Innisdale Invaders' offensive thrust at this point in the game.
No, not at all. He looks like he's going to carry the ball a lot for Innisdale in the fourth quarter. And I'd be willing, although I've been wrong most of the afternoon, John, I'd be willing to say that you will not see Innisdale put the ball in the air again.
So having said that, we should be looking for some sort of a pass on this play, Steve.
Absolutely.
McPherson looks over the defense. Broken play. Forced to keep the ball. A little bit of confusion in the Innisdale backfield on that play. Still managed to scramble forward for inches, but it brings up a fourth down. And you would suspect they're going to be playing it safe here, and of course that's what they are doing. They brought 24 fluke out into the game, and he will be punting the ball away here.
That's Seneca Aaron back there to receive, along with number 32, Jeremy Evans.
Now, the return here is obviously important. They need to get some decent field position, get some pressure on Fluke, and he's got the wind with him.
Seneca Aaron.
That's Allen on the
That's
return.
Jeremy Evans.
Is it Evans on the return, number 32?
32, yeah. You know, it goes without saying now, John, every play is a big play now. There are no throwaway plays anymore. Every one of them has to be geared towards a single solitary goal, and that's getting closer, if not into the end zone.
Well, I think Gary Innes is having to, Coach Gary Innes for the Barrie North Vikings is going to be looking into that playbook and seeing if he can pull out a series here, some creative offense that'll get this club back in the game. Down 8-0 here as we are early in the fourth quarter. Quarterback Jordan over center. Rolls out to his right, looking to pass the ball, and he's got a wide over receiver there for a big first down.
Nice play, nice play. And let's give some credit on that play to the defender for Innisdale, number 49, Greg Staples. I'll tell you, he was the last man between the Barrie North's green shirt and the end zone, and possibly a tie football game.
And number 20, Ryan Higgett, on the receiving end of that Greg Jordan pass. And Higgett just made a nice play, came down the field about 15 yards, enough for a first down, broke it out to the sidelines and was wide open, and Jordan saw him and got the ball there in short order, giving the North Vikings a first down and 10 at just about the midfield stripe.
Vikings left with very little choice now, John. They really have to throw. You can keep the ball on the ground and try and push an offensive series into the end zone, but they don't have much choice now. I think they have to get the ball in the air.
Number 75 for North is into the game.
Sean Foster, 75.
Wonder what Gary Innes has up his sleeve here.
Well, we saw Mr. Foster has an arm he can use if necessary in the first half.
Jordan at center fumbles the ball. Still tries to make something happen. Rolls out to his right, but is smothered under by the Innisdale left side of the defensive line. I'll tell you, loss on the play there, and that looks like, once again, Steve, it's the same story. Time after time, momentum is not, they take the momentum away from themselves on a critical area, and in that case, the snap, the ball going from the center to Greg Jordan on that play, couldn't get a handle on it, and they lost 8 yards on that play, second down and 18.
Just missed execution, and again, that's something you can't coach that.
Jordan audibles at the line of scrimmage, brings everybody to the left side and hands the ball off. Good call, gets back most of what they lost on the last
play. And Higgett with the ball, he's showing a couple of really nifty moves there through the middle. Again, the Innisdale Invader defense doing exactly what they did in the first half. They're allowing them to run out some yards, but they're not allowing them to score any points. So right now in the fourth quarter, they're allowing them to run out some yards, and they're allowing them to run some time off the clock.
Well, big play here, important play selection, third down and 10. And they're going to have to get most of this back, Steve, if they want to continue moving the ball in this series. Jordan is rolling out to his right. Mike Butler. Mike Butler on the reception, however, only a short game on the play. Call this 4th down and 7. And it's a tough call, but I would think you've got to punt the ball at this point.
You've got no choice now. I mean, you're running out of time in the fourth quarter. You have to go for it.
As the crowd on our side of the field has been somewhat silenced by the lack of positive movement here by the Barrie North Vikings, but this is a big play. They've got to get 7 yards here. And Jordan is under pressure. He's rolling to his left under all kinds of pressure.
What a gutsy play. There's a mistake by the Innisdale defense. Haven't seen too many of those, but they just made one right there. They're going to have a late hit on the quarterback, Greg Jordan.
So on a broken play, no receivers, the Innisdale secondary was was up to the task in covering the receivers. Jordan makes a heads-up play and takes it, call it 12 yards for a first down.
He's going to get some more on the penalty. That's a real gutsy play by Mr. Jordan. He's not a big kid, and you're going to run into some people who really want a piece of you pretty bad in a championship football game. And
well, he heard the thunder coming. That defensive line and was on his heels, but we also have a 15-yard penalty on the play, Steve, and a late hit on the play on the quarterback, so that gives him good field position and a first down inside the 30-yard line. And their fortunes have turned in the matter of one or two plays on a critical play. Jordan now gives off to Georgian on the right side. A good defensive play by number 44, Sean McMeeking. He comes up and makes a solid hit.
Excellent pursuit on some very wet ground. Neither player there, the one with the ball or the one pursuing the man with the ball, really could get any footing. And in that case, this time it was the defender that went out.
Well, the Innisdale defensive line have made short work of most of the North plays that they've tried to run to the outside. They've done a good job all day, Steve, of stringing out the play and holding those running backs to a short gain. They come up now second down and long. Jordan under center brings Butler across the line to the left and gives it right up inside to the fullback. On the quick hit, and that's, of course, number 50, was that 52, Georgian. Obviously, Coach Gary Innes trying to set the Innisdale defensive formation up for something at this point in the game.
I think that is a ball in the air this time.
They only gained a very short bit of yardage, and again, here we go with Jordan rolling out to the right. He's got someone in his face and gets hammered on the play by number 36.
Yeah, that was Chris Boyle. Really came up and made a pretty big hit on a guy that's about, I would say Mr. Jordan's about half the size of the defender that just hit him, but they both bounced right back up. And again, I mean, impressive. I mean, he stood right in there. He knew he was going to get hit and it was going to hurt, and he stood right in there.
Well, as a defensive player, particularly as an outside linebacker, those are plays you live for. And Boyle made the most of it. He wrapped Jordan and took him to the turf. Very hard, but Jordan right back up again, the competitor he is. And looking to move the ball now on third and long. Full house backfield. Again, he brings Butler across the formation to the left and rolls to his left and looks for Butler down the field in the end zone, in the corner of the end zone. And Butler just could not squeeze the ball there.
Did not miss catching that ball by very much. And that, I believe, was a fourth down play, and that'll turn the ball back over to Innisdale.
Well, that play had all the earmarks of success on it. Butler, again, came across the formation and ran a corner route. The ball was there, but good defensive coverage on the play by the Innisdale secondary. Turning the ball over, now Innisdale taking over. At about their 30-yard line.
There's the 3-minute whistle.
3 minutes left here in this game, the 1996 Georgian Bay Senior Boys High School Football Championships, with the Innisdale Invaders up 8-0. So they keep the ball on the ground. The give is inside to Kelly. And at this point, with 3 minutes left, Innisdale has two things on their mind, I would think, Steve. Number one is ball control. They do not want to give the ball up and put it on the carpet with a bad handoff at this point in the game. And the other thing they would like to do is maintain control and pick up a first down here.
Absolutely.
And try to run the clock out.
Fairly deep in their own zone right now to be turning the ball over by punt.
McPherson under center. Oh, it gives off the right side and stacked up beautifully by the North defense.
He had absolutely nowhere to go. He ran into just a solid wall of green. Green and yellow and a lot of mud now, too. Well, I can tell you just by glancing down the sidelines here, John, there's a group of Innisdale Invader football fans that are quite ready to celebrate. They got at least 3 more minutes to wait, and I would imagine the Barrie North Vikings would like to make their wait a lot longer than that.
Well, Innisdale would like to be able to provide the Vikings with an opportunity to go golfing after this game. Or I guess in our neck of the woods, that's skiing, and it gives off to the left-hand side. Nowhere. And again, that North defense comes out strong. Jeremy Georgian and Jeff Lane on the stop, and number 7, Greg Butler, all providing the defense on that play.
Now this kick, of course, all important. The ball must be snapped properly and must be handled properly from the Innisdale point of view. Dropping back, of course, to receive, we have Eric Seneca, number 28, and on the other side, it is 32, Jeremy Evans, I believe.
Well, they're going to come out with good field position regardless here on this play. Fluke gets that ball away under pressure, and he gets roughed. No flag on the play. Tyler Gow. And Tyler Gow has got some room on the outside. He gets driven out of bounds inside.
Tyler Gow.
Gow gets driven out of bounds inside the 30, but that is, of course, the type of return Gary Innes was looking for his Chargers to be able to take over.
You know, watch Tyler Gow come down with that football, and the way that ball was coming down. I'll tell you, that took a lot of guts to go in there, reach in and grab that ball, because it would not have been a stretch to see that ball go bouncing off somewhere else.
Well, a little surprised that there was not a no yards flag on that play, because he was certainly in heavy traffic when he caught it, but Tyler Gow made the most of that return. And now number 7, Greg Jordan, brings his troops up inside the 30. As we wind down, we're certainly inside 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. And he throws a hitch out to the wide side of the field to number 20, Ryan Higgett. And Higgett powers forward.
Been a favorite target all afternoon, and so it's not a surprise he'd be going to him this late in the football game.
Now again, we cannot see how much time is exactly left, but we do know we are well inside 3 minutes with the Innisdale Invaders up 8-0. North is driving. They're inside the 30-yard line of the Innisfil Invaders. Greg Jordan brings the troops up to the line of scrimmage. They are trips to the right. They bring Butler across the formation to the left and give it to Georgian as he rumbles off to the left side for a couple with the Innisdale defense there, number 42.
He ran into, that time we ran into an orange wall right there. You know, something I don't know if you saw it, but really nice thing to see. He ran into that. The defense stopped him, didn't knock him down, and two of the Innisdale players just tapped him on the back and said, nice effort. And that's a nice thing to see this late in a football game that's become this contentious in terms of score. Oops. So we got a penalty against North.
Well, once again, the Barrie North Vikings are making things more difficult for themselves with a penalty on the play, and they're back 10 yards on that play. Greg Jordan, number 7, looks over the defense, and he's got to be thinking, what have I got to do? And he looks to the outside. And this really, Steve, has been the passing play of the day for the Barrie North Vikings. They see a little bit of daylight out there wide right, and they throw the ball out there to number 20.
Yeah, Ryan's done a pretty good job out there getting the ball. There hasn't been a whole lot of room for him to move with the ball after he's caught it, and that the credit there obviously goes to the Invader defense, who have just been outstanding in terms of shutting down things when it became really important for them.
Well, they're certainly getting good penetration on the offensive line, and that defense for Innisdale, as you say, Steve, is able to get on those receivers fairly quickly. Now Jordan rolls to his left, and he looks to the corner.
That pass just came up a little. That pass came up just a little long. Tempted for Jay Watson, number 41. Now Jay Watson was open. That ball just was not thrown to where Jay Watson was.
The footing is a little bit treacherous out there. Possibly Greg Jordan having a difficult time getting set as he rolled out there.
Yeah, it's tough. It's got to be tough to get out there and plant in that mud. It's very, very difficult to just sit down and plant and get off a really good throw. I got the 1 minute flag up now, so we're down under a minute here, John.
And the rally cries go up from the partisan crowd here at Barrie North Collegiate, looking for their Vikings to get this ball in the end zone. Jordan looks left, goes down, gets hammered on the play, and is picked off on the play by number 47, or by number 43 on the play.
That's 43. That's Scott Calvert, number 43.
Well, that is just the final nail in the coffin at this point for the Barrie North Vikings.
I think
Greg Jordan paid the price on that play, Steve. He looked to the corner on that play and got hammered as he let go of the ball, threw into traffic, and again, that's something you're forced to do. He's throwing into double coverage on that play, and in fact, nearly triple coverage as the safety came into field, and that ball was picked off and returned 40 yards on the play. And it's a first down now for the Innisdale Invaders as they try to run out the clock here with less than a minute to go in the fourth quarter.
Innisdale has just performed admirably today, an exceptional performance.
He gives off the right side for Innisdale.
Now let's give full credit to Innisdale. I mean, they have just had a wonderful football game, and they have done just about everything right. And maybe not so much done everything right, they've avoided doing things wrong.
I think that's the important point right there, Steve, because in this game, we're looking at an 8-0 game at this point. Certainly not one-sided by any stretch of the imagination, but they have been the team with the better execution, and as you say, have avoided turning the ball over and avoided doing anything wrong. That was 25 Jeff O'Brien on the play.
Ironic, too, that, it looks like it's going to end up 8-0. Obviously, the football game's not over, but it looks like it's going to end up that way. But it all comes down basically to one play. One play of either broken coverage or good offensive execution, depending on what color uniform you happen to be wearing. But it all comes down to that one play where the Innisdale Invaders got the ball to the outside, were able to sprint into the end zone for a long touchdown, and that looks like it's going to be the difference today.
Well, full marks to Innisdale as well for taking the, as I said earlier, the partisan crowd out of this game early in the second half. Certainly, the potential was there for this crowd to but with Innisdale's ball control, they've managed to silence this crowd to some degree, and here we are with a few seconds left in this game, and Innisdale moving towards what appears to be their first Georgian Bay Senior Boys High School Football Championship in many, many years.
The last time Innisdale won the Senior Boys Championship was there. They had the repeat back in 92-93, and I'm sure they're just delighted to be back, especially considering that now what happens is, as we have a timeout on the field, they will now make the trip to Oshawa for the Metro Bowl qualifier. And I don't, if you have never been to a Metro Bowl, any part of a Metro Bowl sort of festivities, it really is quite something to see.
Well, I think as well, Steve, when you come from a smaller football market, if I can say that, and certainly there's a great deal of passion amongst the high school football rivalries here, but certainly heading into the Metro Bowl or the Metro Bowl semifinals, the team from Innisdale will notice a decided difference in the level of play and enthusiasm that they're going to meet, particularly when they come up against, is it Trinity College School that they may be playing in? Yes, Trinity College.
It's going to be a good football game.
Innisdale comes out now, third down, less than a yard for a first down. They're just trying to wind out the clock here. They give it to Mike Kelly on the inside. Still one timeout left for Barrie North, should they feel the need to take it as we wind down here in the closing seconds. 2 timeouts left for Innisdale. Of course, they will not be taking those timeouts. They would like to keep the clock running and wind out the first championship for this school.
Now, Innisdale came in 5-1. Barrie North came in 5-1. And, a lot of times in those situations, the defending champions tend to get a lot more attention, both from fans and media. And so, Innisdale came in. They both came in with identical records. And as we mentioned off the top, Innisdale lost to North the first time they played. But again, it was a game, ironically now it seems that Innisdale turned the ball over too many times. And now it's just it's exactly turned around. And I think you'll find that Barrie North, just the lack of execution has really hurt them today.
And we really haven't made, Steve, too much mention of the fact that Innisdale offensive line has done a heck of a job today.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think that's, as is generally the case, they tend to be the unsung heroes. But I'll tell you, Hardwick and McFarland, McPherson, Flynn, Spencer, these are some guys who have got some dirty uniforms.
And that, I believe, is the football game. Maybe? Nope. Still got a little bit of time left here. The premature celebrations going on over on the Innisdale bench, which led me to believe this football game was over. But first down. First down on the play, so they will be able to maintain, and barring some unforeseen disaster on the part of the Innisdale Invaders, they will be able to move this ball and maintain control and run out the clock. Certainly disappointing for the defending champ North Vikings. The give again to Kelly up the center. With very few seconds left on the clock. But Steve, I think certainly the North Vikings have nothing to hang their heads about today. A well-played game on both sides of the ball. Absolutely. And almost fitting that we finish this game off in the mud. Yeah, right in the center. Yeah, absolutely. North has nothing to be ashamed of. They played a good football game, made some mistakes, but that's what the name of the game is. And Sean McPherson, and that's it. Number 9, the quarterback, senior boys high school football champion. And apparently the mud doesn't bother them, John, because they're all getting into it right now. Well, Sean McPherson, as he led this club, the quarterback of the Innisdale Invaders, led his club all day long, orchestrating a very good offensive strategy in conjunction with the offensive coordinators on the Innisdale Invaders club, and a very happy, elated Innisdale Invaders club, as you can see. Absolutely, they played a great football game today. Just absolutely great football game. And if we get a shot of the Barrie North sidelines, obviously a dejected group, disappointed that they have not been able to make more of a game out of this. The final score, 8-0 for the Innisdale Invaders. But let's say this about the Barrie North Vikings just before we close. Last year they went down to the Metro Bowl final after the Metro Bowl playoffs after not being expected to do anything, knocked off the team that many thought would win the Metro Bowl, that being the Markham Marauders. And they showed Georgian Bay football is as good as just about anywhere. And I'm sure the Innisdale Invaders have that in mind, and I'm sure they will put on a show just as good as the Barrie North Vikings did as champions of Georgian Bay. Well, the trophy presentations are coming up momentarily. Following the presentation, Steve, I know you're going to try and grab Gary. We will see if we can get both head coaches. I know we will try, Steve, to have you do an interview with Jim Brady, the head coach of the Innisdale Invaders. We'll see if we can catch up with him if we're able to, although understandable if we aren't. Gary Innes may have a few words to say as well, but we will go to the trophy presentations. Today, from the Georgian Bay football officials, most like player, number 9 from North, Rob Butler. Again, Boulder. There are a couple of individual trophies to be presented. The first is the Gord Gow Trophy to the most valuable player from the team from the North. And I'll ask Gord to come forward and present the trophy that's in his name. Go ahead, Jeremy Georgian. And the national trophies for the MVP from the South team. And that goes to Keegan Smith. And the big trophy, the DB trophy, Phil Perry come forward as a representative of the principals. Captain! 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 Guys, you had a terrific year. You're league champions. And hold your head tight. We're doing well. Yeah. And Innisdale, Captain, the DB flag.
Innisdale in Barrie. Highlights in 2 minutes. And we're going to start right in our own backyard. Georgian Bay Senior Football Final was an all-Barrie affair this afternoon. Defending champion Barrie North Vikings at home to crosstown rivals, the Innisdale Invaders. And let's go to the highlights for you now. Turnover led to Innisdale's first and only major in this game, and there it was right there. Then Keegan Smith gets sailing arrows, an amazing 83 yards for the touchdown scamper, and with the convert, the Invaders had a 7-0 lead. That was the only offense that anybody could muster in the first half. And Gary Jordan throws to Brian Piggott right here for a 12-yard gain, but unfortunately North just could not get anything going all day long. 8-0 the final score for the Invaders. Bill Fletcher was at the game. He's got the post-game report.
We just had to see it. We did it. All right. Great boys. What about you? How you feel about all this? We wanted to kick their butt all year.
It means a lot. We worked hard. It was just both two good teams just pounding it out, and we came on top today.
You look pretty badly hurt, but does it feel like it's worth it now?
Oh, it feels great.
Did you think your touchdown from the first quarter would stand up?
I wasn't sure because North is a really strong team. They just keep coming, and it just turned out that's all we needed.
Are you going to be okay for the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
Was there a revenge factor here with North having beaten you and inflicted your only loss this year?
No, I don't think it was a revenge factor. It's just that we were disappointed that we didn't play very well in the game previously. Turned the ball over to them and gave them 2 easy scoring opportunities. We knew we had a good team. We knew we could stay with them.
What was the difference today?
Our turnovers. There's no question. We gave the ball to them too many times, and the penalties just, we kept moving back. But as I said, they forced us to make those kinds of errors. Good teams do that.
And so the Innisdale Invaders are the new GBSSA champions. They go on to the Metro Bowl playoffs. They will be playing Trinity College this Wednesday in Oshawa. And we, the new VR, will have all the highlights of that game. In Barrie, Bill Fletcher, VR Land Sports.